Hey guys, just a quick take here to talk to you about holding property in your IRA. I was talking with a lady this week who she and her sister own a property in Orlando, here in Orlando, in her IRA directly. And I always warn people about that because if something should happen at that property and your liability insurance denies coverage, then that house, that property, of course, is going to be at risk of being taken to satisfy the loss of the person who was shot there, drowned there, got bitten by your tenant's dog, slipped and fell, whatever happened, you always run the risk that that's going to happen. So at that point, that house is potentially going to be taken. But imagine it's a catastrophic loss to this person. Maybe they suffered, it's a child and they suffered disfigurement for the rest of their life, facial disfigurement because the tenant's dog, tore at their face or tore at their scalp. That would far exceed the value of the insurance as well as probably the value of the property itself for this child's pain and suffering and disfigurement that they're going to have for the next 7 decades or so. So you have to think about that. Now, at that point, they're going to go, fine, we'll take the insurance, we'll take the property. Now we're going to start going after whatever else you may have in your IRA. And that could be the cash in that account. So how do you protect against this? Well, one way in Florida that we recommended for her is we could set up a land trust and then move the property into the land trust. She and her sister's IRAs own the land trust. That separates the property from her, separates it from her IRA, separates it from everything else that she owns, separates everything else she owns away from it. So it's all protected that way. Another way to do it, if the property's not in Florida, is they could set up an LLC, a Checkbook Control LLC. She and her sister's IRAs would then own the membership interest and they would be the managers of the LLC, and the LLC would own the property. And that's the only thing it would own, the only asset it would hold. So depending on where you are is what device we would use to hold it. I hear a lot of lawyers on YouTube and everywhere else, they're getting on there and they're saying, well, land trusts don't provide the same level of liability protection. And in Florida, they're wrong. In Florida, I actually sat on the committee that we helped write the latest amendments to the land trust statute in Florida, and we made it extremely clear that that asset is protected, the trustee is protected, and the beneficiary is protected from liability for whatever happens inside of that land trust. So don't listen to the naysayers about the Florida land trust. They may be talking about land trusts in other states that don't have our statute. So that's something to keep in mind as you're titling your properties and your IRA LLCs and your IRA land trust and your self-directed IRAs. Just always keep that in mind. You're playing with fire, and just be careful of how you title it. Don't just do it quickly. Don't do it thoughtlessly. Definitely put some thought into it. Get some advice and do it right the first time to protect all those other IRA assets that you may be holding.